Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of How Do I Start This? My name is Tales. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, welcome. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We talk about all things hip hop. So if that's the type of thing that you're into, make sure you leave a comment and subscribe so that you can be updated when I drop new content. So today we're gonna talk about something close to my heart, Joey Badass. After Kendrick Lamar, he's definitely one of my favorite MCs, and he's been one of my favorite MCs since he dropped 1999 in 2012. Oh, my brain is like doing it. I almost messed that up because of the numbers. But yeah, so he dropped his critically acclaimed debut project, 1999, which was a mixtape in 2012 when he was just 16 years old. And I think I was around 19 at the time. I think I was in my sophomore year of college. So I've been following him like literally from the beginning. And so if you're familiar with the culture, you know that Joey Badass engaged in a rap battle against several West Coast artists earlier this year, namely Ray Vaughn, Daylight, and AZ Chike, all of which are I would say either connected to TDE or connected to Kendrick in some form or fashion, some kind of like six degrees of Kevin Bacon type of situation going on, but namely the artists that are, you know, connected to Kendrick in some way. And so because Joey called out Kendrick in a playful way, I don't think it was like, I think some of my tweets were kind of like exaggerating it, but if you listen to the interviews that follow, you can tell that Joey definitely respects Kendrick, but he still did, you know, call him out on the tracks and kind of just taunt him and like do name flips with his name and everything. All that to say that essentially he pissed a section or a portion of Kendrick's fan base off, and ever since then now, like they've been wanting him to like fail, and so he was supposed to release a project today, but something happened with Columbia Records, who he was signed with, which I'll talk about that in a minute. I think that's quite interesting, but basically Joey went on IG Live and was saying that like Columbia was not releasing or didn't want or wasn't distributing his project, and they were also the reason that his songs from the Back and Forth weren't on Spotify. And all the songs that Joey released were amazing, but that last one was a banger. So if they should have put any songs on Spotify, it should have been that one, right? But they didn't. So Joey let us know that it was Columbia. And so the album didn't come out, and I've seen like people gloating. I've seen people saying like, yeah, that's what he gets, you know, for talking crazy, you know, kind of making fun of him, saying that, you know, Ray Vaughn won the war because Ray Vaughn did end up getting signed after the battle. I think he ended up getting, I don't even want to mess it up. He did get signed by a major, but I don't know which one. Still in partnership with TDE, but kind of in a joint situation like other TD artists as well. So like SZA, like Dolce, J-Rock, and even Kendrick at one point when he was TDE. So all that to say is like I don't understand all this backlash that Joey is getting. As someone who's followed him from day one, he's an immensely talented MC. I think that people have been downplaying his skill. 1999 is the project that people talk about the most. It's the one that it was a moment when it came out, right? And so I think that was the one where we kind of, when we heard Joe, we were like, oh, he's next up, like he's gonna be the next one. So I think 1999 for most people is the project that pops into memory. But for me, his debut album is one of the best debut albums I've ever heard. Before the Money, if you haven't listened to it, make sure you go and check it out. I love that album almost, maybe if not slightly more than 1999, because I remember how excited I was that he was finally releasing his debut project. By then I was a little older, he was a little older, so it's like kind of like watching him develop through, you know, that time period. And it was just, I just remember how I felt when I heard that album. I remember a friend reached out to me and was like, hey, Joey just released, and I checked it out, and it was just a good moment, right? So all that to say that he's been immensely talented, and all his projects since 1999 have been, you know, well crafted. Now, commercially, no, they haven't, you know, done the numbers that the Kendricks, the Coles, and the Drakes have done. But because we're in this current era where we're celebrating lyricism and we're celebrating the culture getting back to the essence, I can't for the life of me understand how people who support Kendrick or people who support Clips are not like supporting Joey as well, like making jokes. And I'm not being sensitive, like saying that you can't make jokes, because if y'all follow me, you know I make jokes all the time. But like celebrating that he's essentially being shelved, or that the label is essentially like playing games with his career, I just think that that's kind of like, that's backwards, especially like when we're trying to get back to the essence, celebrating the fact that a label is actually preventing a real MC from distributing his art. I just think it's problematic. And I also think it speaks to the like how y'all don't know Joey, and like how y'all are not familiar with his work, because since he came out, rest in peace Capital Steez, him, Steez, and Pro Era, all of them were kind of like anti-establishment, anti-label, anti-system, right? If you go back to his early music, and especially if you go back to his, I think his 2017 album, All American Badass, you can hear themes of him discussing injustice and police brutality and race. And so all that to say that his music is actually kind of aligned and kind of similar content-wise to Kendrick's. Actually very similar, definitely not sonically, but I would say it's like content-wise it's very similar. So I just can't understand why people who were excited about Clips, you know, leaving Def Jam a month ago are now excited that Joey is being shelved by Columbia. I think that it's kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, you know, I don't know. I just think that it's problematic. I also think it shows how these labels are just like they really just go with the wind, the way the wind blows. And we knew that already. But I just think that, yeah, I just don't think we should be celebrating a label shelving an artist. And I don't want to say shelving, because I don't know if that's the extent of what's happening, but that seems, for lack of better terms, that's the best word to say in regards to Joey. Now, also, like I said, Joey's music has always sort of been anti-establishment, and even when he came out, I don't recall him being with a major label. I think he was signed to Cinematic Music Group, and I think Cinematic is more of like an indie. I need another computer so I can actually like look this stuff as I'm talking to y'all. But yeah, he was signed, or has been signed. I don't know if he's still signed, but he's been with Cinematic Music Group, and they're kind of like an indie label, and he's been with them the whole time. And so I think that and I know that there's like different definitions of what the word independent means, but I think that Joey would probably be the closest to that. And so I'm saying that Joey has essentially been independent kind of his whole career, and that he's basically like used his skill and his talent, whether in rapping or whether in acting, to get to where he is. And so I think it's unreasonable in a way to expect him to like have this big commercial success, I guess, because, well, I won't say it's unreasonable to expect him to have big commercial success, but I think that, I don't know what I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? I guess I'm trying to say that like people are saying like, well, he's not using the momentum of the battle. He's not capitalizing off the moment. You know, he was doing all that, calling Kendrick out, and now he's not making it profitable for him. And it's just like, I mean, do y'all really like y'all? I just feel like you can't have it both ways. Like, do y'all care about the essence or the culture, or y'all just only care about that when the person that you like is, you know, bashing another MC or dissing another MC in a battle. You know what I mean? It just seems inconsistent, and I just don't understand like where the hate for him is coming from, because if you watch his videos, he's never been disrespectful. He's always been super respectful, and I feel like with him being so young and having been entering the game so young, he has a lot of wisdom, and even his music was always like very mature for the era that he came in, and like also I guess the class of MCs he came in with, right? Because if he dropped 2012, he dropped 1999 in 2012, which is the same year that Kendrick dropped Good Kid, Mad City. They're peers. Like, they're peers. He's peers with J. Cole and Kendrick and Wale and who else am I forgetting? He's very much a part of the blog era. And I think a lot of people were just kind of acting like, oh, he doesn't have the right to call out these different people. He's literally been in the game as long as they have been, and he's peers with them, right? He's not, I don't consider him to be with like the Travis Scotts and the Playboy Cartis. I think they're like a class under him, not in terms of like ranking, but just like, well, yes, ranking, but like also I actually think they entered the game like 1 or 2 years later. So yeah, I just don't understand where all this backlash is coming from. If you would like to expound on it, please let me know in the comment section. If you do watch this video and you made it to, I think that this is going to be the end of it. I also just want to encourage you to like go back and actually listen to Joey's discography, because I think that a lot of the criticism that he gets is not fair. His discography is impeccable. Like I said, Before the Money, All American Badass, which was a very like different album, like sonically for him, but the themes that he's covering was heavy. It was different for him, but I liked it. And I also really enjoyed 2000. Like it was that song, One of Us, with him and Larry June. That went triple platinum, almost diamond in my car. Like I played the hell out of it. So all that to say is, like, I think people are critiquing him from the vantage point of not knowing his discography. And so I urge you to actually go back and listen to his music, and you will find that he's actually closer to Kendrick than he is to like a Drake, or I would say he's even closer to Kendrick than he is J. Cole, actually. And so yeah, y'all just gotta pick. Like, y'all can't be on the label side when they're, you know, taunting an artist that, you know, you hate, but then when they're doing something to an artist you don't like, and then it's good. Like, you can't. I just think that we need to find some consistency, and I think that the reality is that there's no consistency in stan culture. But I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. I feel like I just kind of rambled, but this is something I love Joey. Like, I want the best for him. I want him to succeed. I hope when he does drop his project, it goes #1 and it sells 100,000,000 copies. Like, I don't care about the numbers, but I just want him to do well, because as someone that's been following him from day one, like, I think that he's done an amazing job for someone who hasn't had that label push, and then to actually sign to a major and then to end up in a situation, like, it sucks. Like, it sucks for me as a fan, so I can't even imagine like how he feels, you know what I mean? So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.